Flint, ME, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon acted responsibly, not criminally, during the Flint water crisis, his attorney told a Genesee District Court judge who must decide whether the case against him moves forward. Lyon, facing charges including involuntary manslaughter and misconduct in office, appeared before Judge David Goggins Wednesday, July 11. A decision on binding his case over for a jury trial in Genesee Circuit Court is expected later this month. After a preliminary examination that has lasted 10 months, John Bursch, attorney for Lyon, told Goggins that his client was a professional administrator, not a scientist, not an epidemiologist, who did what was reasonable as outbreaks of Legionnaire's disease unfolded while the city used the Flint River as its water source. There isn't any evidence Mr. Lyon misled the public or anyone else. Certainly, he isn't personally responsible for everyone in the department, Bursch said. Special Prosecutor Todd Flood has charged Lyon with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for contributing to or causing the deaths of Robert Skidmore and John Snyder, 2 Genesee County men who he says died of Legionnaires. Doctors called to testify during the exam have disagreed over the cause of Skidmore and Snyder's deaths, and Lyon's attorneys have filed a motion to strike the testimony of Drive. Joel Kahn, a prosecution witness and cardiologist who they claim is not qualified to opine regarding Legionnaires. Flood, who says that request has no merit, has also charged Lyon with misconduct in office and willful neglect of duty, charges that are also tied to the Legionnaires' outbreaks that killed at least a dozen Genesee County residents in 2014 and 2015. Flood told Goggins Wednesday that Lyon was in a position to act quickly to prevent repeated Legionnaires' deaths, had information that warranted stepped-up action, but that he failed to protect or notify the public. No one is above the law, Flood said. This man was invested with powers to protect us, not to hide things from us. Lyon has said he learned of an initial surge in Legionnaires' cases in Genesee County a full year before sharing information about outbreaks of the disease directly with Governor Rick Snyder in January 2016. Public records have shown other DHHS officials were aware of a rapid rise in Legionnaires' cases even earlier than the director, as well as suspicions that the spread was tied to Flint's change in its water source. Snyder has said he shared the Legionnaires' information with the public the day after he was told by Lyon, months after the city ended its use of the Flint River and reconnected to the Great Lakes Water Authority, which uses water from Lake Huron. Bursch said Lyon did what was reasonable for someone overseeing a department with 14,000 employees, making sure his staff was engaged. That they pursued answers when there was not definitive evidence of a cause, and asking to be kept informed of developments. There is no evidence any staff person ever advised Director Lyon to issue a public notice about the outbreaks, said Bursch, who said a public announcement would have been absurd because local, state and federal health officials were never able to prove a certain single cause for the rise in Legionnaires' cases. Flood told Goggins that Lyon showed disregard for the evidence in front of him and failed to act while knowing someone was going to get sick. Someone was going to die. Goggins is scheduled to announce July 25 whether Lyon will face a Genesee Circuit Court jury on the charges. The judge must decide whether there is probable cause to believe the crimes Lyon is charged with were committed and that he is the individual who committed them. Witnesses in the preliminary exam have included medical doctors, current and former DHHS employees, and Legionnaires researchers from Wayne State University. One WSU professor, Paul Kilgore, testified in November that Lyon told him during a 2016 meeting about Flint water, "We can't save everyone, everyone has to die of something, or something similar to that." Another DHHS employee who was also at the meeting disputed that account, but Bursch called it a disputed flippant response during Wednesday's examination. Bursch said Lyon advised multiple members of Snyder's inner circle, including former press secretary Dave Murray, of the Legionnaires' problems in Flint by March 2015, a few months after he was first briefed on the subject.